If only you knew 1% of the pain. Hey everyone, it's me Nas from Nas Studios here to talk about something I've been itching to talk about for a while now, which is growing up as a Sonic fan in the 2010s. Yes, indeed, quite the topic it is, very painful topic. A lot of Sonic fans these days don't understand how good they got it now. In today's landscape of games, you'll find that saying the words, "I like Sonic the Hedgehog," is met with, at best, a common agreement, or at worst, indifference. But there was a long time ago where uttering the word hedgehog gets people looking at you like you just said a no-no word. People used to hate Sonic. Why exactly that is? I couldn't fucking tell you. And I'm not just talking about the time period between Forces and Frontiers. Dude, it gets so much worse. So come with me, your local unk, as we talk about how the war on Sonic never changes. Until it did, but you know. To start us off simple, let's talk about the critic side of this, because this is truly where this kind of thing started, in my opinion. Nowadays, you'll see a critic gassing up the latest Sonic release, your Crossworlds, your Generations, and such kind of. But starting around the time of Sonic 06 releasing, and honestly, Shadow 05 too, every single critic in the world had an organized meeting at the secret, evil place, sat down and said, "So we can all agree, we're never letting this motherfucker live it down, right?" Oh my gosh, they just could not give this dude a break. If a game had Sonic in the title, they were not letting it go with more than a 7. Even games that are now considered to be the pinnacle of the series were beaten down with the low score crowbar. And yes, this is a real image, and no, Sonic 06 is not one of those games. They gave Sonic Adventure 2 a 7 out of 10. What?
This game sucks.
What? Sonic Generations, thankfully, is just objectively good, so they let that one slide. But oh man, the damage was already done. Critics may be less of a consideration to people who actually play games, but to the common people, these reviews are how they see the character, and this is not a favorable sight. And when these are bad, it makes the next group of people have a slight bias. This is where the first circle of hell begins. Oh my gosh. This is the part that people either forget about or don't seem to understand how bad it truly was. Sonic was everyone's favorite blue punching bag, the butt of every joke. Even the stuff that was made as fan projects couldn't help but dunk on the dude every chance they got. Looking at you, Sonic for Hire. I hate this show. The amount of cursed Sonic videos and images made with almost nothing but spite during this time made it to where you had to be moving in silence when enjoying any actually well-made Sonic content. And the worst part? Everyone was adding on to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm no stranger to dunking on video game series as jokes, or just making weird funny stuff in general.
Not yet.
Master Chief!
But it gets to a point. There's a part of me that can't blame people for taking the route of that kind of thing, because damn, it really was the only way to survive, but it was really making it worse.
What the fuck?
I hate... Dude, I'm thinking about editing this part. And I can't. Oh my god, I gotta find that video now. I'm not even gonna watch it. I'm just gonna download it. I'm gonna put it up. Oh my god. But adding on to that, Sega was doing it too.
So now what? Is that a bounce pad?
Yeah, it is. Bounce pad.
Bounce pad!
It didn't help that Sonic's story structure started changing from Shonen Jump, Dragon Ball Z, to Fairly Odd Parents in terms of writing. But to be honest, again, can we really blame them? They were getting beaten down in every way, and comedy was the scapegoat. People these days always look toward that time period between Forces and Frontiers as the rock bottom of the franchise, but I think people are forgetting a certain time period. Nobody talks about it for some reason, maybe because it's so repressed in people's minds, but 2014 to 2016 was the pinnacle of Sonic dunking. But added on to that was the uncertainty of the franchise in general. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth on it for the sake of time and the fact that I actually want to flesh it out in a different video. But the short and sweet of it is that there were barely any new Sonic news. Sonic YouTubers were not very active. And the release of one of the worst Sonic games of all time sealed the deal for this dude. The internet was hunting for Sonic fans. Alright, this was not a good time to be a Sonic fan. Now, I already made a skit about this, and I think it summed it up pretty well, but the main idea of that video is that it was f***ing rough out here, dude. Again, moving in silence required. If you had any cool Sonic shirts you were gonna wear, throw them bitches out, cause you will be side-eyed the entire time. Getting caught drawing Sonic, especially if you're bad at it, like me, was a worse offense than punching a grandma, and if your homies found out, let's just say those ain't gonna be your homies no more. I also noticed, weirdly, that richer kids hated him more for some reason. I grew up in a poor area for like 8 years of my life and didn't have any problems with liking Sonic. If anything, I found other people who fought with him as hard as I did. But as soon as I moved in with my grandparents in their more suburban type area, I pull up to school wearing my favorite Sonic shirt, and when I walk in, they look at me like, yo, is that Sonic?
Maybe.
Kill him!
I'm only slightly exaggerating. And of course, when that first Sonic trailer dropped right after Uganda Knuckles, that time period can only be described as my own true personal hell. To wrap this video up, I just wanted to say that despite that, I still loved Sonic back then. Even if I felt like I was being hunted like the movie The Predator. Nothing could really truly pull me away from it, and I'm glad I stayed. It's given me opportunities like the one you see before you, and it's honestly really cool to see my boy being mainstream and well liked again. I mean, I see little kids running around with their Sonic shirts and sweatshirts, and it makes me smile. I'm glad my investment in this series has turned up, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the series has to offer. But what about you guys? Do you have any experiences similar to what I've shared? Make sure to drop them in the comments, and if you've made it this far, consider dropping a subscription and a like. I post nearly every week now, and I've got some cool stuff on the way for y'all. But with all that being said, this is Nas Studios, signing off. Peace.